probably wondering, why am I talking like this? I'm really tired. I really didn't get too much sleep today. Well, actually, I got a good amount of sleep. Okay. I had a good sleep. I just didn't get the amount I'm supposed to need. I'm playing some NBA 2K in the background, and I'm gonna talk about 3 times Courage the Cowardly Dog came close to losing its child audience. And when I'm talking about this, actually no, I'm gonna give you a little backstory on Courage. Like probably, let me wait until the minute mark comes. You can watch my amazing person. It's gonna take 30 seconds. Okay, Courage the Cowardly Dog is a show about a purple dog and 2 elderly people. 1 elderly woman and 1 elderly man. And it's about Courage saving his parents after him being abandoned. Well, you don't. Let me just shut up. And he tries to save his family from these villains and all that. And it's a good show. Courage was actually pretty frightening. Well, only in seasons 1 and 2, it was a daily basis. Like in seasons 3 and 4, 3 was just more of an upset, and 4 was just another season 3. But these episodes I'm gonna mention are possibly the closest times Courage ever lost his child audience. And when I'm saying this, I'm meaning like kids. I'm meaning like the people who watched Courage. There would just be like adults watching it rather than kids, like my age. But let's get into it. At number 3, we have Freaky Fred. Freaky Fred was possibly the most sadistic episode in Courage history. Now I said possibly for a reason, so don't judge me. But this episode was very sadistic. It's about Courage, Muriel, and Eustace, normal cast, and then we get somebody named Fred, who's always rhyming. He always says naughty at the end of the words. Well, he's always involving naughty whenever he speaks. But this episode's about Muriel's nephew. God, how can Muriel be related to such a weirdo? But he takes a bus over to their house, and Eustace doesn't like him, but then again, Eustace doesn't like anyone, but at least this time Eustace is right. And you'll see what I mean when I explain the episode. Eustace leaves the house, and the only thing he does to Fred is say hi. Then Fred needs to use the bathroom. So Courage has to show Fred the bathroom. And then this is where we all hate Eustace at times. We all have that hate for Eustace. I mean, let's be honest. So he goes up to the bathroom and shows him it. And he has towels in his hands. And he shoves Courage's in the bathroom with the towels. And he puts a lock on it. So Courage is locked in there with Freaky Fred. And oh my God, I can't explain it. You have to watch it to find out. But I'll just put it the best way I can explain it. I mean, I'm already choking on my words. But Courage really gets tortured, and this is possibly one of the most scariest episodes. I was thinking about putting a decision between King Ramses and Freaky Fred. A lot of people would have said King Ramses would be more frightening, but in my opinion, Ramses is just a ghost. He's basically like a spirit. And if you give him what he wants, he'll leave you alone. Fred, on the other hand, is just sadistic. You can't trust the man. And that's why Courage never trusted him, and Eustace never trusted him. But somehow Muriel trusted him. I don't know what was going on with Muriel that day. But anyways, also there's a certain scene that kind of annoys me, and whenever it comes on I mute it. Not because I'm scared of it, it was just the background song they used for it. There's a scene where Fred is shaving all of Courage's hair, and they play some song like that goes la 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 la. It was annoying kind of, but at the same time it was perfect for the situation. But that was creepy, and at the end a mental asylum takes Fred, good, and he leaves a little love note on Courage with left pieces of his hair. I mean, I don't know how that's possible. And it says with love, Fred, or love, Fred. I don't know. But the episode was just so creepy. Now, let me stop bragging about Fred. And I know he might be my favorite character, but I know I must stop. Now, let's get on to number 2. Number 2, Demon in the Mattress. I was originally thinking of putting this at number 3 and putting King Ramses at number 1, but my number 1 spot is actually a little more explained and a little more creepier if you really think about it. Now, number 2 is Demon in the Mattress. Let me explain the plot. Muriel's sick of her old mattress, which is broken, and she gets a new mattress from this article in the paper. Muriel orders the mattress, and it's all green. Like, not oozing green, it is green for some reason. I mean, I don't know how she can lie on a bed like that. And she decides to take a nap in it. If you saw the Exorcist movie, you would understand what it's coming to. But Courage as usual knows something's wrong. So as Muriel takes a nap, she turns into a demon, and they have to perform an exorcist to get her out of her demon mode. It might sound like a dumb episode, and it might sound like really, really scary, but overall, the episode wasn't scary. Well, to be honest, you gotta be scared a little, but to be honest, it wasn't as scary as it was. It was just, if you really think about it, you would be frightened, because Muriel's a demon. The only thing that was preventing this becoming number 1 was that there was at least some funny jokes in there. And you're probably going to say, oh, what about Fred? Fred didn't really have much funny jokes. Fred wasn't really all that funny, but at least it was a little more serious. This was a little bit more fake, and it needed that joke in it. It needed some jokes in it. So it had the jokes, which made the episode not too much scary, but you know, when you have a demon Muriel, you gotta be scared. Come on. Unless you're Superman, you cannot be scared. You cannot be not scared. And yeah, Fred was just real. Fred was more serious than this, but if you're gonna start a Courage episode being serious, it's gonna be scary, but it's not gonna be as frightening if you're gonna really go in depth on it. And now, let's bring up some honorable mentions for number 1. I forgot the episode's name, but it's about that weird guy that shows up with the puppet stage, and he turns Muriel and the Great Fusili. It's something Fusili. I think it's the Great Fusili. It's about this guy coming to Muriel's house, and then he was performing a magic show, and he turns he turns Muriel and Eustace into puppets. The episode overall wasn't really the fact that I thought of putting it here. It was the end. The end was Courage playing with Eustace and Muriel. And if you think about it, he's basically playing with dead bodies. But just for a little ending, I didn't think it's all that. I said it earlier, King Ramses. King Ramses wasn't really King Ramses was possibly my most favorite episode of CGI. That's because he looked terrible. He looked like he got out of a bar fight with like the Hulk, and he was all messed up. But besides King Ramses' looks, the jokes got the best. There was jokes in it, and it was actually really funny jokes. My honorable mentions might just take up the entire video because it was pretty long. So I'm going to make a part 2 of this, but Eustace and Muriel, okay? Think about it. They're elderlies. And there's a Courage conspiracy that this all can be in Courage's head. To be honest, I kind of agree with it, but you never know. I was just bringing that up. So another episode I was thinking about putting on here was Night of the Weremoles. Night of the Weremoles. This was an episode that I really wanted to put on here because of Muriel becoming a weremole, and the topic of the episode just sounded perfect to be on here. But sadly, this is like one of the bad episodes of Season 1 Courage. Season 1 Courage is possibly the best season of Courage to ever exist. But overall, I didn't like the episode, so, I couldn't put it on here. Another episode I was thinking of putting on here was Courage in the Big Stinking City. Now, this episode was only really frightening for one reason, and that was just because of the violin girl. 75% of me wanted to put it on here for that. There was also another 10% that wanted me to put it on because of the ending. If you didn't see the ending, Eustace gets eaten up by something that we never know what it is. It's locked up in a wall, and it eats Eustace while Courage is saving Muriel. And the guy who unlocked it, Schwick, he's busy chasing Courage and Muriel, while Eustace stays and he gets eaten alive. But we never know what's in it, and the music at the end is kind of creepy. So I was thinking of that. Another episode would be the Season 2 finale. I forgot the Season 2 finale episode name, but I don't know. Something about the guy, you think that he's going to do something bad, and he's really going to scare you. You're going to be like, oh no, I'm going to cry! Ah! But really, it was just a good episode, but it wasn't scary, really. It was just a nice, detailed episode. Those were my honorable mentions. If I missed out on the honorable mentions, let me know. But I'm going to end it here. I'll tell you my number 1 pick in another video. And I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this. Bye. And like my player in my career mode.